Today I'm going to be giving my long-term review of the Revolver Wheels from Loco Skates, from the perspective of a skater of big wheel, wizard and aggressive skating. And because I respect your time, I'm going to spoil the conclusion of this review early by telling you that these wheels definitely fulfill the promise of their tagline, delivering a premium wheel at a budget price point. I found them to be fast and grippy on the roll, use high quality materials and also offer great build quality. I also love that they come in a wide variety of sizes and profiles, allowing me to get aesthetically matching results across all of my setups. The only disadvantage I found is I think they wear slightly faster than more expensive wheels, and you're also limited to an 88A hardness across the range. However, given that these wheels are significantly cheaper than the competition, I still think that these wheels offer great performance and value for money at this price point, and I have no hesitation in recommending them across all skating disciplines. If you're looking for a more in-depth perspective before you make a purchase, in this video I'll be giving my full review of these wheels, having skated my way through around 8 sets of them over the last 4 years. Now, full disclosure, these wheels were sent to me by Loco Skates for the purposes of this review, but I've been rolling these wheels since their release in 2020 and I gave them a positive review back then too. Now, with that out of the way, let's get an overview of the product line, and if you're already familiar with what's on offer from Revolver, feel free to navigate to the relevant section of this video using the timestamps below. Now, Revolver wheels come in a wide variety of sizes and profiles, with a 56mm wheel on the small end, all the way up to a 110 on the larger end, to fit all the needs of aggressive and big wheel skaters alike. For anti-rocker skaters, there's also a 49.5mm urethane anti-rocker wheel coming in at 100A. Price-wise, they come in at a very reasonable 24 UK pounds, which is around 29 US dollars, and this makes them around 3 times cheaper than the most expensive aggressive wheels I could find, the RB Hydrogen wheels. Now, I have heard nothing but good things about these wheels, but I find it hard to believe that they could be 3 times as good. All Revolver wheels come in an 88A durometer, and if you're not familiar with the A scale, this essentially refers to how hard or soft the wheel is. The higher the number, the harder the wheel, and vice versa. In terms of the wheel's core, the majority of the Revolver range have a large plastic core, which Loco states is conducive to a faster rolling performance when compared to wheels with smaller hubs. In my experience, this larger core does make a subtle difference in terms of maintaining your speed and coast on the roll. I don't think it's a night and day difference, but it's definitely a unique feature which is well worth having. For those aggressive skaters who are looking to squeeze a bit of extra speed out of their setups, I'd recommend checking out the metal core wheels, which are available on the 60 and 64mm wheels. These also have the advantage of having pre-installed bearings, as anyone who's tried to squeeze bearings into their own metal core wheels knows it's about as tricky as trying to learn an alley-oop backside unity. Is that what that trick's called? I don't know. I find that metal core wheels produce a bit more shock on the landing, and my 32-year-old back definitely prefers the softer rebound of a plastic core, but many of the skaters I roll with love the way the metal cores give you that extra speed and responsiveness, so I think it just comes down to personal preference. In terms of aesthetics, I love that all the wheels across the Revolver range match, which means that if you're skating a frame that takes 2 different sizes of wheels, for example, like the Wish frames or the Wizard Advanced frames, you can get an aesthetically matching setup, and you don't have to resort to some weird pick and mix situation where you're using wheels of different brands and geometers in order to get rolling. I also like the simple black and white colourway with the subtle graphics. I think that they look brilliant and they're a great match for any setup. In terms of build quality, I've found the Revolver wheels to be of a consistently high standard across all of the wheels that I've had over the last few years. There are 2 main problems that you can experience with wheel production quality, and this is chunking, where a piece of the urethane comes away from the rest of the tyre, and decoring, where the hub literally comes away from the urethane that surrounds it. I'm pleased to say that I haven't experienced either of these problems with my Revolver wheels, even after putting them through their paces over a number of days and weeks. Loco stated that they've had very few returns on these wheels, which just demonstrates that other skaters are having a similar experience to me with a really high, consistent standard of build quality. Another note about the design of these wheels, I've noticed that the slot where the bearing goes into the hub of the wheel is ever so slightly wider than the wheels that I've had in the past, which makes it much easier to pop your bearings in and out of the wheel. This is a really big advantage, I think, because it allows you to set up your skates much faster, and also means that you don't have to use any excessive force when you're pushing your bearing out, which can sometimes lead to damaging the bearing case. So this is again another really nice feature, which is well worth having. And speaking of bearings, there's also an associated line of Revolver bearings, which I've also also been using in tandem with my Revolver wheels, and I found them to be really good quality. Next, I want to talk about the wheel's rolling performance, and for aggressive skating, I found these wheels to be really fast and responsive, but for me, I also value that the wheel has plenty of grip, as I'm quite heavy, so for those indoor winter skate park sessions, having that grip is really important, and the 88A gyrometer on these wheels definitely delivers in a range of different scenarios. However, if you are quite new to aggressive skating, it can be valuable to try wheels of different gyrometers to see what you prefer, because what gives you the optimum kind of balance of, speed, grip, and also wheel bite reduction is going to depend on how heavy you are and the kind of surfaces you're skating on. So just bear that in mind when you are making your purchasing decision, as you may find that for your personal circumstances, a harder wheel may suit you better. And speaking of wheel bite, if you are looking for some tips to reduce wheel bite on your transition to riding flat, be sure to check out this video right here or here, I can't remember where it appears, which has got some great actionable tips which you can start implementing to make your transition to flat skating much more enjoyable. And if you are getting some value from this video, I'd really appreciate it if you could give this video a like and also consider subscribing to the channel for more blading content. Next up, I want to talk about big wheel and wizard skating, and for this style of skating, I found that the Revolver wheels offer all of the grip, control and speed that I need for these styles of skating, and I have no specific criticisms. In terms of wizard skating, I find that you have to remove that kind of shiny coating on the wheels that you get when they're brand new before you can get the most out of your setup, but once that's taken place, I find these wheels perform really well in this circumstance too, offering you great control for sharp turns and wheel slides. I found that this can be one area where cheaper wheels start to show their budget price point, and this can lead to the wheels developing quite excessive flat spots when the wheels are heavily stressed and subjected to a lot of friction, for example during wheel slides. However, I haven't found this to be the case with the Revolver wheels, and I haven't experienced any excessive flat spotting, chunking or decoring, and they've held up to the stresses of wizard and long distance skating really well. In terms of the lifespan of the wheel, I alluded at the start of this video that I feel that Revolver wheels wear down marginally faster than more expensive wheels, and to be more specific, I find that Revolver wheels wear down maybe 5 to 10% faster than wheels of the same size and geometer, which are perhaps a bit more expensive. But also bear in mind that I'm quite heavy, I skate quite often, and I'm often skating over quite rough terrain. So I think that this observation is quite subjective, and it may not necessarily be reflective of your own skating experience. So this definitely isn't a deal breaker for me, and I still feel that these wheels offer a really nice balance of performance and value for money, and I'll continue to use them across all of my different setups. But I'd be interested to know what you think of the Revolver wheels. Let me know what your experience has been in the comments down below. But if you want to check out the Revolver range for yourself and pick up a set of these wheels, I'll leave a link in the description down below where you can check them out. And until the next time, be sure to watch these videos right here. I'm Chris Chadwick, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.